Now welcome Mr. Kunal Chandiramani.
So I'm a TEDx speaker. I'm an honorary advisor to Kangaroo Kids Education Limited, which happens to be one of Asia's most trusted education brands. Apart from which, I'm a member of the Google developer community for artificial intelligence, and I am also the author of 2 books. So that's about, yeah. And as they mentioned, I'm 14. So I'll tell you a story. I was going to this seminar the other day where I did not know the full form of the seminar. I was Googling it not because I wanted to know who the speakers were, but I was Googling it just because I wanted to know what the term IPR meant. On Googling it, I got to know that IPR just meant intellectual property rights, which was a term I knew almost everything about, and I had a presence of it in various parts of my site, and I implemented it at various prospects, and I had enough knowledge about the rights. So the thing is, on going through that terminology, I just did not know what it means, even after knowing what it actually means. So the world will make things look way too complex to you, but after all, it is your decision not to let things look as complex as the world makes it. Take things for what they are. How many of you know what this word means? The one on the screen. Any guesses? Something that happened 2 days ago. Way too complex, right? Right? So that's what the world does. Everything is made to look complex even though it isn't. So the moment you believe in yourself that this is not complex, that's the very first step, and that's how my journey did begin. So I'll tell you the story of this Goa Startup Day. How many of you have heard about it? So yeah, just one hand. So I was invited as a delegate there among 500 other delegates to be among the crowd. But I exited the auditorium as a VVIP speaker. So that's the thing. So I happen to be one of the youngest successful CEOs. One of my companies has more than 1 lakh users. But my situation is very, very ironic. Like I told a couple of ironies earlier within my situation. I'll tell you a huge irony of my situation. That you were to the India school in Gwalior. So I was a judge at the senior school for grade 9 to 12. And then we have Sanskar Valley School in Bhopal. I was a judge at Sanskar Valley School at Bhopal. The thing is, I've been a judge for grade 9 to 12 at various schools, and I can conferences. But the thing is, I come back to sit in a grade 10 classroom. Sounds very optimistic. Believe me, it's not that optimistic. Post my TED talk, I went through really bad bullying. To a limit, the kids gathered around me and hit me. I faced really, really bad bullying, possibly because of jealousy or other reasons. But that is what challenged me. That these people who believe that jealousy is coming out, I believe they can be my customers. So every time somebody troubles me, somebody teaches me, I'm going to get money out of you because you are my next customers. So that's what I believe, that the world is very optimistic, and that is what you need to do. You need to think of every situation in the most optimistic way, that when it isn't optimistic, you make it so optimistic that when it's optimistic, you put it into optimism. And that's just a part of the irony. So, talking about the kids who bullied me, I go to Billabong in Bhopal itself. So, the same kids who bullied me, I became an honorary advisor for technology to the parent company of the school, Kangaroo Kids Education Limited. So that is like, so every time someone troubles you or you go through some mishaps, make it a point to answer that not by reacting but by impacting, because you can impact those lives to be better for themselves and not just for you. So that's how I became an honorary advisor to Kangaroo Kids Education Limited, one of Asia's most trusted education brands. And so that's about the irony of 14-year-old CEO. So this is my first startup. It's called CompAcademy.in. Just because how a computer revolutionizes the world is just amazing. how a single device can change the perspective of everybody, and how one single device can give you the power to impact the whole world. 2,000 people at a go, 2 billion people to further, and 8 billion people as your audience, inclusive of Internet of Things and various other technologies. So the Internet gives you so much power. However, when it comes to education, we prepare kids for the 21st century with the system of the 19th century. That's not something, we don't want kids of the 19th century to be leading the world of the 21st century. But don't take me for this. I believe our education system is great. It's the best to train robots, not to train humans. And that is what I've been trying to impact to CompAcademy.in. The same kids who might go to school and come home and play PUBG, or go home and play Clash of Clans. How many of you can relate? Cool, that sounds good. Yeah. So those same people, impact, getting them to go on to and learn something about getting the want of learning, because our system runs on fear, not on the want of learning. So getting the want of learning. So every time you do a nano course on CompAcademy.in, you get points, and you spend these points to buy a higher level course. So you need to strategize on how to learn, and you enjoy playing. Oh, okay, I just slipped my tongue. I mean learn. Play, learn. Just the same thing. We need to make it the same thing, and that's the time we can impact the people, to make people of the 27th century, the 21st century, so we can make a future that's optimistic, a future that is perspective. So I've been starting to use the optimistic word much more after having had spoken to views. Yeah, so apart from that, like lifelong learning, that's one of the core things that is necessary now. With technologies such as artificial intelligence coming in, a lot of us start feeling outdated, that what are we doing now? Do we know these technologies? Are we going to tomorrow get a robot getting us pushed out of our chairs and trying to use a laptop and getting trouble? So these were pushing issues in everybody's mind, that how these technologies were coming in. All the way from technologies such as entrepreneurship, in fact, fields such as entrepreneurship to technologies. The technology world changes every second for the second time. That means that there are two new technologies that get revealed every second in a person's all over the world. That's a huge number, isn't it? And with you putting a huge impact, we come across the fact that it is very important for us to be updated. So with courses leading all the way from 5 minutes to 20 minutes, we've been able to put an impact onto all lifelong learning. So the nano course, in 5 minutes to 2 hours, you will be able to learn a new skill then and there. So that's what I tried to do to CompAcademy.in. So moving ahead to my second startup, KStar.in, we've been able to attain pretty impressive figures. So we have more than 1 lakh users, like I said. I'm referring to this startup of mine. Apart from which we are talking in Indian terms, we over 10 million rupees. I know how bad a million and rupees don't go well together, but still 10 million rupees, that's a figure I've taken it per quarter. That's the amount that goes to KStar.in every month. So what KStar does is, for the shopkeepers who never thought online as a market for them, but always wanted to come online, we impact them. How? But in 5 minutes with KStar.in, the same rural entrepreneur who's making something amazing, the same handicrafts which had got outdated and which were removed from the trend just because of robot made and because of machine made goods coming in, they can go onto KStar.in or download our app and in less than 5 minutes set up a store, in the next 5 minutes add their products, and after that set up their shipping zones. And I'm proud to announce with our recent partnerships with Kaputa.in and with a lot of payment gateways, you can just put your bank account details, and in 15 minutes you can have transfers happening into your bank account by all means and all major and minor payment methods, apart from which a person would come to your house and collect the goods and take it further. So you don't have to worry, you have to worry about what you're doing. If you're creating something quality, you can continue to create that quality, and in 15 minutes you can get your level boosted with KStar.in. You've been able to impact a huge crowd. And it is that impact that gives me the power to be able to address this audience today. So, okay, so after speaking all this, how many of you feel motivated? And how many of you are going to feel motivated after 20 days? So that's where the numbers goes less. So I use this analogy a lot, and I wanted to share this with you guys that you can use this analogy to your benefit about how I get motivation. Motivation for me is not inner motivation or outer motivation. It is not neither the sum of inner motivation and outer motivation. It is the product of inner motivation and outer motivation. So what happens is that where outer motivation can never be zero, you know you're living on the planet, so outer motivation can't be zero. So yes, so outer motivation can't be zero. So imagine an environment where you have a lot of outer motivation, say 500. But inside your motivation is just 0.25. Imagine how much you're nullifying the motivation you're getting from outside. On the other hand, when you have motivation outside is 0.25, but inside you have enough motivation to pick up a wall, that is called self-motivated, and that is where, when you don't get motivation, most people blame the surroundings and all. We need to look inside, we need to find the motivation inside, and when we get it from outside, we don't need to let it nullify inside. So we need to multiply the motivation outside and inside. When the motivation outside can be whatever, but the motivation inside is what you need to work on, and that is what will get you levels. So that was immensely my pleasure to talk to the audience, and that is how I believe I can contribute to Sustainable Development Goal 4 by getting lifelong learning for everyone through CompAcademy.in, and to Sustainable Goal number 9 by not just innovating for tomorrow but for generations to come, for centuries to go, for millenniums ahead. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking.